Hello everyone, I'm Hollis. Today I will introduce the Intarsia splitting mode. In Longshan design pattern system, the Intarsia splitting mode can be controlled through controlling the Intarsia splitting mode so as to decrease the sanity numbers and improve the knitting efficiency. In default mode, the Intarsia splitting mode set for the whole Intarsia. It can be divided into three tabs. The first tab, normal splitting. The second tab, combination splitting. The third tab, special splitting. In addition, we can set splitting mode on the function line 217. Right click and you can find three values. Number 1 value indicates Intarsia steps. Number 2 value indicates Intarsia combination. Number 3 value indicates special splitting or vertical Intarsia. Then, as the below pattern shows, click compare. The compare interface will pop up. Here are three options. The normal mode indicates the ordinary step splitting mode. The store mode indicates the combination splitting mode or Intarsia. The Shima mode indicates the special vertical rib or Intarsia splitting mode. Here we select the normal mode. Then let's check the first part. You see here has 4 Intarsia code piece or vertical rib. For in this case, click function line 217. Right click, find the vertical Intarsia splitting mode, fill into this area. Then let's check the middle part. You see the middle part has 3 Intarsia code piece. For in this case, right click, find ordinary. Then fill the number 1 value on the function line 217. Then let's check the last part. You see here has 1, 2, 3, 4, fill. 6, 7 Intarsia code piece. For in this case, select the combination split mode on the function line 217. Generally, if the package cost is 3, we select the ordinary splitting mode. If the Intarsia code piece more than 4, we select the combination splitting mode. So this is about how to set splitting mode on the function line 217. When we set the splitting mode on the function line, the system will firstly carry out it, then compare and check the compare result. You see this message you can ignore because the middle needles too much. You can change the middle needles by yourself. For the next step, I will introduce for you the application of the organization image layer. Generally, we draw the pattern, only use one pattern image layer. But sometimes we not only use the pattern image layer, but also use the organization image layer. For example, here are some codes as 2 Intarsia code piece connection area. Here we take transfer code as an example. You see, this is pattern image layer. This is the organization image layer. This is vertical rib 2x2 organization. Here is left transfer code and right transfer code. Checking corresponding position in pattern image layer. You see. Generally, the package code also can be drawn the organization image layer and the pattern image layer. It depends on the package is difficult or easy. If it's difficult, we can draw it on the organization image layer. If it's easy, we can draw it on the pattern image layer. For the next course, I will introduce for you how to draw a package. You see here has 3 Intarsia code pieces, so we can set 3 Intarsia yarn carrier. Here we use number 2 yarn carrier for knitting 211 Intarsia code piece. We use number 3 yarn carrier for knitting 212 Intarsia code piece. We use number 4 yarn carrier for knitting 213 Intarsia code piece. So the 61 transfer code will use number 2 yarn carrier for knitting, and the 71 transfer code will use number 3 yarn carrier for knitting. After drawing the pattern and setting Intarsia yarn carrier, the next step compiling. Before compiling, here is the key point we need to pay attention to. Must select use the organization image layer. Compile and check the result. You see, this is 61 transfer code is number 3 yarn carrier for knitting. The 71 transfer code is number 3 yarn carrier for knitting. For the next step, I will introduce how to use the function of Intarsia broken and cancel tuck. As the below pattern shows, you see we want to set Intarsia yarn carrier for down piece and up piece separately. Then we set Intarsia yarn carrier. Now you see this part and this part is number 1 yarn carrier for knitting. The middle part is number 2 yarn carrier for knitting. The right part is number 3 yarn carrier for knitting. If the up piece we want to use different Intarsia yarn carrier for knitting. For in this case, click function line 214. Select to file Intarsia mark. Fill it on any row or middle knitting area. You see. Then let's set yarn carrier again. Now you see this part is number 1 yarn carrier for knitting. This part is number 2 yarn carrier for knitting. This part is number 3 yarn carrier for knitting. The up Intarsia code piece, we can use number 1, number 2, number 3 Intarsia yarn carrier for knitting and use other Intarsia yarn carrier for knitting. Here we set number 6, number 7, and number 8 Intarsia yarn carrier for knitting. For the next step, I will introduce for you how to use the cancel tuck of Intarsia. Now you can see the Intarsia code we use 211, 212, and 213. And we no need tag treatment at two Intarsia code piece connection area. Click Intarsia joint, find tag cancel or Intarsia code. Generally, these Intarsia codes will not select, because for this pattern, we no need a tag for treatment at two Intarsia code piece connection area. So we select 211, 212, and 213 Intarsia codes. Then compile and check the compile result. You see, this part we use number 1, number 2, number 3 yarn carrier for knitting. And the connection area, no tag for treatment, you see. Then we check up piece. You see here we use number 6, number 7, and number 8 yarn carrier for knitting. The connection area also no tag for treatment. The middle part we use number 5 yarn carrier for knitting. If you want to change the yarn carrier or middle knitting, you can set other yarn carrier. For the next step, I will introduce for you how to draw the pattern with needle point. Here are some key points we need to pay attention to. The first key point, drawing Intarsia pattern with Intarsia codes. Drawing needle point with jacquard codes. The second key point, checking the distance rows or needle points. The third key point, setting cancel tag. The fourth key point, selection schema mode or Intarsia splitting before compiling. As the pattern shows, you see this is Intarsia pattern with needle point. Drawing main body use Intarsia codes. Here we use 211, 212, 213 Intarsia codes. Drawing needle point with jacquard codes. Here we use 232, 231 jacquard codes. Then checking the distance from one jacquard needle to another jacquard needle. You see the distance is 1 row. Here we change the reading rows, compare and check the compare result. You see the system carried out yarn carrier leading out and yarn carrier leading in. You see, this way not good. It will waste time. It not improve the knitting efficiency. For in this case, we input the value more than the distance is okay. Here we input 6. Then let's check again. You see the system no carry out young carry leaning in and young carry leaning out. Because here we use 231 and 232 jacket code. For the next step, we set cancel tag or jacket codes. Select these two jacket codes. The last step, compiling, and select schema mode. Check compare result. You see this file no problem. So this all knowledge of this course, all key point of this course. So far, today's course is over. I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye everyone.